Peace. What's going on, everybody? Give everybody a chance to tap on in, man. Hopefully, y'all having a powerful Tuesday thus far. Y'all staying peaceful, centered, balanced, healthy, all that good stuff, man. Give everybody a chance to tune on in and tap in with your boy before I start building on today's subject matter. So, how everybody feeling, man? How everybody living? How everybody holding up? Got an important topic to discuss today, man. Real important. Dealing with the mental health, man. So, a lot of people struggle with the mental health issues. So we got to tap into that subject matter every now and then just to make sure everybody mental is all good. Terenzo, peace. What's going on with you, my brother? Hertz 187. What's going on? How y'all living? How y'all holding up? Justin, peace. Lindell, Eli, Andrew, peace. How everybody living? Magic Realms, what's the word? How y'all holding up, man? How y'all mentals doing, man? How y'all mental health doing? Gotta check in with each other, man. We gotta check in with one another when it comes to mental health, man. A lot of times we don't do that, man. Just making sure everybody is all good mentally. Jules, peace. What's going on? Gotta make sure that mental is straight. And if that mental is not straight, gotta acknowledge it, man. Gotta let it be known that you're not good. You know what I'm saying? Don't tell yourself you're good when you're really not. Got a problem, man. You just gotta understand you have a problem and don't be afraid to announce that you had that problem. That's the only way to solve the problem. You got to acknowledge it in the first place, man. So if something's not sitting well with you, if something not sitting right with you, you got to acknowledge it. You got to let it be known. Justin, there we go. Keep it rolling. Keep it rolling. Keep that energy rolling. Magic Realms, no doubt. Always a work in progress when it comes to that mental health. Got to pay attention to the mind. Got to give attention to that mind. Got to give attention to the brain. Got to do it, man. Can't neglect that aspect of health, man. Cannot do it. Got to stop doing it, man. We got to stop lying to ourselves. Got to stop being in denial. Like I said, if you're not having a good day, acknowledge that fact. See what went wrong in that day. Why was that day not good? See what you can do to improve upon that day so the next day can be better than the last. A lot of times we don't do that. That's what we go through these experiences for, you know what I mean? So we can learn from them. We don't just go through these experiences just so we can forget them. You go through these experiences, you go through these life experiences so that you can learn from them. That's supposed to be the entire point, not just to forget that they ever happened. Like that who is that serving? Young Moolah, you say you need help. She not acting right. What's she doing? What's going on with that situation? Thunder, peace. What's going on with you, my brother? But yeah, man, a lot of people, man, and ironically enough, a lot of brothers, man, a lot of brothers deal with depression, man. A lot of us are out here depressed. A lot of us are out here just all bad mentally, and I feel like that's something, as I've said in previous streams, that doesn't get discussed enough. Like the mental health of us, the men out here, man. A lot of us are struggling mentally. It's a lot of pressure on some of us out here, man, and a lot of us are dealing with a lot. And we're not really able, or at least we feel like we're not really able to express our true sentiments, because you know how it go. Depending on how some of you all was raised, but you know how I go for some of us that was raised in that old school type of background. We're not able to express how we truly feel. That's looked at as being weak. That's looked at as a sign of weakness. So man, we just got to keep it bottled up and we got to keep it pushing. We got to do what's necessary out here, man. So anytime we start to vent about our problems or start complaining or whatever the case may be, you get viewed as weak. So y'all know how I go. Nowadays, that's not necessarily the case. These young bulls can sit and cry all day, and that's just what they do. But the way I was raised, that's not what a man did or does. So we just been taught to just deal with things, man. Life gonna throw some things your way. You just gotta deal with it, man. You can't sit and cry about it. But a lot of times, man, that just causes us to suppress a lot of our true feelings and emotions and things of that nature, which that can come back to haunt a lot of us or hurt a lot of us. You know, so we just got to be more comfortable when it comes to just expressing our true sentiments, man, our true emotions, our true feelings. We got to do a better job of that instead of just suppressing it all the time, man, and holding things in. It's real crucial. Real crucial. But I just feel like I feel like we don't, Miss Donnie, peace, Brandon, peace. What's going on? You know, I just feel like when it comes to us, a lot of times, man, we try to sweep depression under the rug. I guarantee you, man, 9 out of every 10 people you come across, man, just struggling mentally. Like I'm not even gonna front, man. People, man, life is real out here, man. Life is real. Not everybody, listen, people are nowhere near close to being in the position that they thought that they would be in right now, you know. So a lot of people are out here, man, just frustrated with life. And we got to understand that, man. That's why I say, man, I always try to approach people in that with that peaceful vibe or that centered vibe, man, because you just never know. You never know what somebody is going through, man. That person, listen, you coming to that person in that peaceful vibe could have been just enough to prevent them from jumping off the cliff. You know, so I'm always mindful of that, man. But then if you come to that person with an attitude, that could be just enough for that person to say, you know what, I'm tired of this planet. I'm tired of existing. You know, this person just randomly had an attitude with me for no reason. Like, why? That's enough. That's enough to just go ahead and set them off. So I always approach people from that vibe, man, with that vibe, because you just never know, man. And for the most part, the everyday person that you about to come across, man, is just stressed out, dealing with a lot of stress. You an adult in America, you dealing with a lot of stress, man. You dealing with a lot of stress. It ain't whether or not you dealing with stress, it's just how you coping with all the stress that's coming your way, because life is stressful. Life is definitely stressful, man. We can't make that up, man. So that's why I talk about things like detachment, because there's no way you can dodge stress, man. It's about how you channel that energy though. But stress is going to hit us all, no matter how you was raised, no matter how you was brought up. Like, stress is going to hit you. The more you live, the more stress is going to come your way, man. The more you acquire, the more you do, the more you climb up a ladder, the more stress is going to the more stress is going to come at you. And you just got to learn how to just master the art of dealing with stress. Master the science of dealing with stress, because it's going to come your way. It's going to come your way. And that's just a fact. Angelo, peace. What's going on? Bobby, most definitely, man. It's a lot of things, man. Just honesty, man. Just being truthful. Knowing who you are. Like, that's another thing. Knowing who you are. It's hard to be, when it comes to self, it's hard to be honest with yourself if you don't know who you are. You don't know what it is that's bothering you. You don't know what it is that you like. You don't know what it is that you dislike. You don't know what it is that triggers that anger, that frustration, that peace. You know what I'm saying? When you don't know those things about yourself, it's hard to be honest with yourself. So a lot of it, we skip that step, just knowing who we are, just getting acquainted with who we are, man. And I know y'all get tired of me talking about knowledge of self, man, but that's the most important thing to everything. That comes first. You got to know yourself, man, in order to even be honest with yourself, in order to be truthful with yourself, in order to love yourself. You got to know who you are. You got to know who you are. Lindell, 100% agree with. 100% agree with that thin line. Definitely. Definitely. Ms. Donnie, man, no doubt about it, man. And that's why some of these platforms are crucial, because a lot of people who in the physical, when it comes to their immediate circle, don't have a shoulder to lean on. But that's why they be on social media, because some of these platforms, people don't understand, some of these platforms are the shoulder for people to lean on. Literally. That's why I said social media is a blessing and a curse, because social media is, at the same time where it's destroying some people's lives, is actually preventing some people from jumping off that cliff. It's saving people at the same time. At the same time that it's destroying, it's also building some people up. You know, so that's the blessing and the curse when it comes to social media. So I'm gonna give social media a little credit for that, because it's a lot of positive platforms out here that if those platforms didn't exist, some people wouldn't exist, you know. So I'm thankful, you know, for some of those positive platforms that I've come across that I tap into from time to time, man, just keep my head on straight. So I'm always, you know, expressing gratitude for those platforms. Man, Brandon, yo, you sound like, listen, you sound like me a few years ago. Bunch of things I wanted to do, bunch of things that I wanted to accomplish, and life was just seemingly not going my way, man. It felt like everything was going against me. Like I said, I felt like Tupac, me against the world. And I had like a million things that I wanted to do. I'm gonna give you one simple thing that helped me. First of all, don't even look at it and say I got many things I want to accomplish. Focus on the most important thing that you want to accomplish. Matter of fact, focus on the most important thing that you need to accomplish. Out of those many things that you feel like you want to accomplish, focus on the most important. Once you limit and minimize all of those things that you feel like you want to accomplish and you boil it down to one, everything gonna change for you. That's what happened to me, man. I had that was actually my problem. I wanted to do too much. And that is stressful in and of itself, wanting to do too much. Like that is stressful. If you got a lot of things that you want to do, nah, you got to prioritize. What's the most important thing? What do you need to do right now? What's the most important thing to focus on? What is the thing? If you focus on it right now, it's going to take your life to the next level. Focus on that. You're going to have time for everything else. But my problem was trying to do too many things at once or around the same time. Focus on that one most important thing. Master that. Strive towards that. See how far that can take you. So I feel like that's one of the most important things to do, man. Just focus on that one thing. A lot of times, man, just having too many things going on in your mind, too many things that you want to accomplish, man, that creates a lot of tension mentally, man. That's stressful. And then you end up doing absolutely nothing. You end up doing absolutely nothing when you have all that stuff going on in your mind. You got to minimize your thoughts, man. You got to minimize that, man. You got to say, all right, man, I want to do 10 things, but listen, this is the most important. So I'm going to focus on that. When I master this one thing, then that's going to make room for me to be able to accomplish these other things. But I'm going to focus on the most important. That's what I did. I said, man, I want to do all these things, but listen, fitness is the most important thing that I need to do. So I focused on that. Yeah, journaling is always great. Journaling is always great. Calvin, no doubt, man. Affirmations, prayer, meditation, whatever you got to do to get your mind right. You know, I do that on a daily basis, man. And I made a post on Instagram talking about consistency being the key. That's one of the main reasons why we struggle too, man, just being inconsistent and indecisive, man. And that indecisive mentality that comes from just having too many things we want to do. It causes you to be indecisive, man. When you got a bunch of things that you want to do that all sound good, it's hard to choose one, you know. So you got to settle on one. Settle on one. Settle on one. I recommend that, man. Just settle on one, man, and focus on being consistent. So if you got a larger goal, man, like a 10-year goal, in order for you to reach the 10-year goal, there are things that you got to do on a daily basis. Those are things that you must focus on that make up the process. So I always say embrace the process, man. So focus on the things that you must do on a daily basis. Those are the things to embrace. Those are the things to embrace, man. The things you got to do on a daily basis. What are some things that you can do every day that will not only improve your mental health, but to push you that much closer to your goal? It's something that you can do on a daily basis. It's a few things that you can do on a daily basis, man, that push you toward that larger goal. Do those things, man. Embrace those things. Make sure you get those things done every day. That is important. Ms. Donnie, man, that's a good strength to have. That's a good strength. That's a great strength to have. Great strength. Ms. Donnie, hey, you same boat. That's what essentially took my grandmother out the game as well, man. That stress. And then it's another thing too. When you see that within your family, you understand the apple don't fall too far from the tree. So when I did the knowledge to, you know, my grandmother, man, just bending over backwards for everybody, man, just really stressing herself out. I was like, dang, man, I realized that I got the same qualities. So I had to actually learn from that. As sad as it was that she passed, I actually learned from her passing. I'm like, nah, man, I'm operating the same way she was operating. I'm gonna end up the same way, just stressing myself to death, man. I don't want to do that. So I learned a lot from that particular situation, man. That's why I say, man, it ain't really no such thing as good or bad. Like, even when somebody passes, there's a lesson to be learned. So I just analyzed her life, man, and I just seen what she was doing. I seen how she was operating. Yeah, it's cool to be, it's cool to be helpful to everybody and anybody. But at the same time, man, you got to take time to yourself. You got to take time to yourself, because most of these people that you striving to help wouldn't even think about bending over backwards for you. Wouldn't even think about it. So, at sometimes, man, you just got to look at it you got to look at it in that light, man. I'm not telling you to go out here and reject helping any and everybody, but what I'm saying is, man, you got to make sure you make time to help yourself. And I watched my grandmother, like, pretty much make time to help everybody but herself. And essentially that's what led to her health deteriorating. And I'm like, nah, I can't do that, man. You got to make time for your health, mentally and physically. You got to do it. You got to do it, because all these people that you helping, they not going to do that. They not going to prioritize your time. They're not going to prioritize your health. They're not going to make sure you taking care of yourself. They just happy you taking care of them or you helping them out. So you just got to make time for yourself, man. It's cool to help people, but, man, you got to make sure you helping yourself first and foremost. Got to do that. That is important. Oh yeah, Terenzo, no doubt. Pretty much utilizing the language because, of course, of where we are. So we know how I go. And then even with the language, man, we define a lot of times we put our own spin on these words. You know how we do it. Solo T40, peace. What's going on? Tay, peace. William, what's going on? Peace. Lindell, and that's another thing, man. I touched on that some months ago in the stream, talking about jobs and stress, man. A lot of people are stressed out. A lot of people are just literally self-destructing because of the work that they do. And that's just not how it should be going, man. If you work in a job that's essentially stressing you to death, it's not that job just ain't for you. You need to find you something else. You need to find you something that's less stressful. You do not need to be working a job that is essentially killing you, because how can you enjoy life if you work in a job that you hate and you work in a job that's killing you? Yeah, you may be able to provide financially, but then, like, mentally, you in a whole different space. You angry all the time. You're frustrated, like you unhappy. So, like, how is that beneficial? How is that beneficial, man? Life is bigger than just being able to provide financially, and people don't understand that. You got to also find you something that brings you peace, that at least makes you feel positive or something, man. Feel productive. You don't need to be waking up in the morning just dreading what you got to do, man. That's bad energy, man. Out the gate, you waking up with dreadful energy. It's not good. Nothing good is going to come out of hating what you do, especially when you got to be there over 8 hours a day. Like, come on, 5-6 days out of the week. And for the most part, man, we in the wilderness of North America in 2021. Having one job ain't enough these days, man. People work multiple jobs and they hate every last one of the jobs. Like, that's not good, man. That's not good mentally. That's just not good. There's nothing good going to come out of you hating what you do for a living. You being stressed out to the max by what you do for a living. And you got to spend 9 to 10 hours a day at these places. Like that, nothing good is going to come out of that. Nothing. Like that doesn't make any sense to think anything good is going to come out of hating what you do and doing it for 10 hours out of a day, 5 to 6 days a week. That's all negative energy. That's all negative energy. That's all toxic energy that you dishing out. That goes against the universal laws, man, to think that something positive is going to come out of that. Beautiful Goddess Keys, Peace Queen, what's going on? Brandon, man, yeah, just prioritize it, man. See what's the most important thing that you must get done and focus on that. Focus on that. There you go, Miss Donnie. Exactly. Brandon, listen to Miss Donnie. So, and listen to Terenzo. Listen to everybody. Oh, Brandon, this simple. Hey man, this simple, Brandon. You say it, I'm trying, but it all comes back to money. Unfortunately, I want to open a shoe store first. All right, Brandon, this real simple. All right, first of all, and I'm sure you have done most of this. See how much it is that you need. And once you figure out what it is that you need, now it's a matter of just doing your affirmations, man, and just focusing on what you can do to generate the money. And that's easy. It's a lot of different ways to manifest that money, but you must do your money affirmations every day. That's something that you got to be consistent with. I'm talking about you got to write these affirmations in a journal every day. You got to listen to the affirmations through the headphones every morning, and you got to say or speak the affirmations every morning. So you got to do these money affirmations. And then on top of that, you're going to see a lot of things come your way in regards to your financial situation, man. But it's a multitude of different ways to generate the funds that you need to open that shoe store. Even if you got to go about doing it virtually first, do that. I know that's not as expensive as a brick and mortar store. I don't know how you're trying to go about doing it, but it's a lot of different ways to generate the revenue. A lot of different ways, man. It's a lot of different ways to generate revenue in 2021. All you got to do is say, all right, this is what I want to do. This is the amount of money that I feel like I need. Here's the game plan. Let's go. This is how I'm going to generate the money, man. Just create your game plan, man. Just figure out what you need first. And then it's a lot of different ways, man, to manifest that money, man, to attract that money to you and go get that money. It's a lot of different ways to go about it. A lot of different ways. Yeah, William, man, and it's all about emptying the mind, man. You got to empty the mind. Montel, TZ, peace. What's going on? But it's all about emptying the mind. And Solo T40, you say, what's a good time management technique? It's a few techniques that I've came across in my studies. I forgot the name of some of them, but the best time management technique for me is working in blocks. Working in blocks. So I'm gonna give you one. I'm gonna give you one in regards to reading, for example. Like I'd read 15 pages at a time. So 15 pages, I'm focused. And then when the 15 pages is up, I give myself like a 20, 30-minute break before I go back to reading or however long of a break I want to take. So it's just essentially working in blocks. So if you got something that's important that you got to do, let's just say you got a type of paper, give yourself a 30-minute block. Say, I'm finna just go hard, focus on this paper for 30 minutes. Then when the 30 minutes is up, give yourself like a 10-minute break. Once the 10-minute break is back up, you work in that 30-minute block again. And you can work in that block as many times you feel like you need to get the job done. You know, so I recommend working in blocks, man, and just figuring out the time that work for you. I think 30 minutes is like my max. Like it's hard for me to focus on certain things longer than that 30 minutes before I feel like I need to get up and move. So 30 minutes is a nice little block. So if I'm typing something, man, I just give myself that 30-minute block. Then I get up for about 10 minutes and just do some other stuff, you know, and it's a lot of science behind that. So, but that's how I like to operate and function, man. I like to do those blocks. Time block, that stuff crucial. Like when I start doing those blocks, man, I start being a lot more efficient. So you got to go in that type of stuff with an agenda. You got to say, all right, man, I'm about to get 1,000, I'm about to get 5,000 words typed, and I'm finna work in 30-minute blocks. So you giving yourself that time limit to do it. So you got to do things like that, man. Those things are great for time management for me, working in blocks. Like whatever you got to do, work in a block. And you're going to see how efficient you become. I'm talking about within that 30 minutes, you have no distractions. Whatever it is that you got to work on within that 30-minute block, that's where all your focus is at. Man, it's crazy what you can get done by focusing on something for 30 minutes. You focus on something for 30 minutes, man, you will get a lot done. Imagine doing that 5 times, though. So that's what I recommend for time management. Brandon, man, Chicago, you all right, man? You're not too far from the kid, man. You're not too far from the kid. I already know. Ja King of Law, peace, God. What's going on? Underdrifter, man. Bench presses, squats, deadlifts, all of that. Exercising definitely cures depression, no doubt. I'm about to get in. I'm about to get into that though. JF, peace. What's going on? Oh, Miss Donnie. So you when you You say utilize, give it a damn, fam. You'll be surprised how much easier and peaceful you'll be when you selective with your mental and time. Telling you, gotta be selective with it, man. And that's one thing that I'm really starting to grasp now. You know, I've always spoken it, but now I'm really starting to grasp it and just live it out. You know, a lot of things sound good in theory, but in practice, it's a whole different ball game. So a lot of times things sound good when we speak it, but putting it into practice, putting it into motion becomes a little complicated. What they say, easier said than done type deal. So when you actually start doing some of the things that you've been speaking about, or speaking on, or speaking, like that's when that's when life starts to get a little greater for you. Air view, yeah, you say, I guess you can put this with bad circle, but peer pressure and or wanting to be respected or feel significant in someone's eyes. Man, listen, peer pressure is real, and don't let anybody tell you that it's not real. Peer pressure is real in the field, and peer pressure can not only just come from your peers, but man, your family. You know what I'm saying, man? That pressure is real, and a lot of people fold under pressure. Like, that's why I don't like when I see things like unnecessary pressure, I got a problem with it. I almost instantly like intervene in the situation, man. Like, don't be putting pressure on somebody. Somebody say they want to make a change, or somebody say they want to do something, and then the whole family lines up against them, telling them why they don't need to make this change. Like, I instantly have a problem with that. Don't do that. Don't do that. Do not do that. I cannot stand that. I cannot stand that type of pressure, man. It literally takes a strong-minded person to reject or resist that type of pressure. Most of the time, man, when that pressure is coming from your peers or your family, a lot of people fold. A lot of people like, you know what, y'all right. It's only going to be a select few that be like, listen, I don't really care what y'all saying. And, you know, y'all may have good intentions, but I'm going to still do me. It's only a select few that's going to be able to do that. So a lot of times people need to just respect the individual and say, okay, man, this is what you're saying you're going to do. I'm going to just let you go ahead and make your move. I'm going to let you make your move. I'm going to let you live your life. Because I got to focus on my life, man. So why I feel like I got to master your life as well, man. A lot of times that's what people do. That's where that pressure be coming from. That's where that pressure be coming from, man. Like, just leave people alone. Let people make decisions for themselves. Let people do that. Let people do it. I don't care what you may think would be the best decision for them. Allow them to make the decisions that they feel is best for themselves, man. Because at the end of the day, you don't know what's best for an individual. You can think you know what's best for an individual, but if you are not that individual, you cannot know what's best for them. So allow people to make the decisions that they feel like are best for them. Leave it alone. Stop putting that pressure on them. When they say they going left, stop saying, nah, you should come right because all of us are going right. Now let them go left. Maybe it's something to the left that they need. You know, so stop trying to convince them to go right simply because that's where y'all going. Like, nah, that ain't how it works. Let them go left, man. Let them go left. Let them make that decision. But I can't stand that pressure, man. I can't stand it. I've dealt with that pressure a lot of times, man. And as a child, sometimes the pressure got to me and it caused me to, like, it had a negative impact on me. And then sometimes I was able to rise above the pressure. So I wasn't undefeated in dealing with the pressure, man. I took some L's when it came to pressure. And a lot of times dealing with pressure caused me to overthink a lot, you know. That was one of the side effects of just having to deal with a lot of pressure, man. Just cause you to overthink before you make a decision. Underdrifter, listen, if you got kids, the kids gonna eat regardless. Matter of fact, let's skip the kids. You don't want to starve. You don't want to starve. You know what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, that's why I tell people, if you was to leave one thing that we gonna do, we gonna eat out here. None of us want to starve. Even before kids, before you mention kids, talking about the kids gotta eat. You gotta eat. You gotta eat. You're not about to sit around and let yourself starve. So that's what I tell everybody, man. Look, you gonna figure out a way to generate revenue. You're going to figure out a way to put food on the table because you don't want to starve out here. That's not a pleasant feeling to be hungry, let alone your kids being hungry. But you just being hungry in and of itself is not a good feeling. So you're not going to allow yourself to starve. That's why I was able to take the risk, because I'm like, man, I'm not going to allow myself to starve. I'm going to do what I need to do. So we always going to do what we need to do. That don't mean you got to sit here and put up with stress in order to do it. Because I guarantee you, if it's one thing I can guarantee for the most part, man, we not about to sit out here and just let ourselves starve. We're going to figure out a way to generate some type of revenue. Sometimes it's in an illegal way, but we going to figure out ways to generate some funds. We gonna find a way to put some food on the table. We gonna do that. So why not be at peace while you doing it? Why not enjoy it while you're doing it? Because what good is it to see your kids eat, but you out here self-destructing and you dying early, and you always in the hospital, you always sick? You know, what good is it? Like, you can't enjoy the fruits of your labor, man, when you just always sick, stressed out, frustrated, angry, not present, all of that. So it's not really a benefit to that. Oh, Brandon, man, for the most part, man, that's how people do. That's how people do. Like I tell, man, self-preservation, first law of nature. So for the most part, people have ulterior motives when they dealing with you. They looking at you, most of the time, they looking at you in the light of, what can you do for me? What can you do to help me? If they see you are of value to their life, then that's when they're going to try to incorporate you into their life. So for the most part, that's the only reason people rock with you in the first place, man, because they feel like you can add on to their life, man. Self-preservation. That's nature, you know. So that's why I say, man, you got to preserve the best parts of yourself, meaning your mind, meaning your health and things of that nature. Hey, TZ, I want to retire my job by age 40. No, you will retire that job by age 40. Change that lingo. You gonna retire by your job. You gonna retire by age 40. That's something that you will do. Terenzo, no doubt, man. Killing themselves, yeah, killing themselves to live. That's what we do. That's what we do. We good at that. Ms. Don, appreciate that donation. You say keep yourself first. You cannot pour into the next cup if yours empty or too low. Right and exact. Right and exact. I ain't even gotta elaborate on that. Bonafide, what you say? You say you've been feeling very heavy in your limbs and tired. I've been eating clean and rested though. Any ideas? I've been eating more smaller meals and water too. I would just have to get a good idea of what you are actually consuming in regards to feeling tired of things of that nature. Yeah, Brandon, manifesting is definitely the key. Most definitely. Most definitely the key. Miss Don, hey, manifest quietly. I'm telling y'all, man, when I got my little gym, not too many people knew about it. They just saw it. That was one of the best feelings in the world, man, to just know that I did something and didn't have to tell the world while I was doing it. For the most part, when you do that, man, you tend to not even accomplish what it is you're striving to accomplish, because people start shooting you down instantly. So that's my new way of moving, man. When I got something major that I'm working on, that I'm doing, I just come out with it, letting people know what I'm working on. I ain't letting people know what I'm doing. I'm just gonna go do it. It is what it is, man. I'm just gonna go do it, man. Life too precious for all that, man. And people just too negative out here, man. People just too negative, too envious, too jealous, and all of that for me to be sharing my objectives and plans and goals with them. Got time for that type of energy, man. Got time for it. So if I got something major that I'm going to do, I'm just gonna go do it. And you're gonna see the end product. You're like, dang, man, I didn't even know you was working on that. There's a reason why you didn't know. It's a reason why you didn't know. Rex and Kings, peace. What's going on? Yeah, Bonafide. Yeah, yeah, a lot of people out here getting pressured into getting the vaccine. A lot of people. Which to me, at some point, but like I said, man, that pressure is real. But at some point, man, you got to stand your ground, you know. I'm standing my ground. Ain't nobody pressuring me into doing anything out here that I don't want to do. Not happening. Hey, Brandon, man, you got it, man. You got it. Yeah, William, that's what I'm saying. You got to care for yourself. You got to save yourself in order for you to even be able to save your children, man. So if you kill yourself, then you can't save. You know what I'm saying? So you gotta that first law of nature is crucial. I always go back. That first law of nature is crucial. You can't even get to these other laws, man. That first law of nature is so crucial to preserve self. It is so crucial. You must preserve yourself in order for you to help anybody around you. But if you don't preserve yourself, then it don't really matter because at that point you out the game. Thunder, no doubt. Keep your head about you while others are losing theirs. And that's what we see. We see everybody losing their mind. So you got to make sure you keeping yours intact and whatnot. Bona fide, no doubt. Then up your fruit intake. Because that's what you're like. Anytime it's a lack of energy, man, that's pretty much what you need. So you want to up that fruit intake because that's what the body uses as that fuel for that energy. So up the fruit intake. Up that fruit intake. Wisdom, peace, what's going on? But hold on, wait a minute. Let me Wise King coming with a let me do knowledge. Let me do knowledge to that real quick. Hold on. Workplace stress nearly destroyed my marriage. Vibes immediately changed for the better. Once my wife found a positive work environment and I started a towing business. Joey the Servant, peace, what's going on? Wise King, man, I could relate to that like a big dog, man. Just me working in corporate America when I knew it wasn't for me, man, was just, boy, I was just angry all the time. Just like I wasn't feeling anything, man. Just having to deal with an environment for 8-9 hours a day that I didn't too much care for, man. I'm just having to deal with people I don't care to deal with. I'm already one of the individuals that, introverted, just don't really care for people like that unless it's in my type of environment, which like fitness, that's my type of environment. So I don't mind with dealing with people. I don't mind dealing with people when it comes to fitness. But banking and stuff, like I didn't really care about that. So it was real draining. So by the time I get off, man, I just don't even feel like dealing with anybody. And that just causes relationships to suffer, man, whether it be with families, a spouse, girlfriend, boyfriend, whatever the case may be. If you don't like what you're doing for 8, 9, 10 hours, man, that's going to drain you, take the life out of you. So when you get to the crib, when it's time to go home, man, the last thing you feel like doing is just like talking. You just like drain, man. You just want to sit and do absolutely nothing. Like literally, man, these people don't understand. Some of these jobs can drain you and that can ruin relationships, but people don't want to talk about that, man. Like my mental health just took a turn for the better, man, when I just said, you know what? I'm done with it. I'm about to do my own thing. Sweet tea, peace. What's going on? But I want to build on some of the things that's leading to the feeling of like depression, man. The first thing, y'all already know how much I talk about food, toxic foods triggering depression, man. A lot of people don't understand that. That's why I say like genetically modified foods create a genetically modified mind. Processed foods create processed mind. Acidic foods create an acidic mind. Toxic foods create a toxic mind, etc., etc. So when they say you are what you eat, that's literal. So if you are out here consuming trauma-based foods, because like I said, when you consuming a lot of these meats, you consuming a lot of the trauma that's within the meat, a lot of the toxins that's within the meat, a lot of the antibiotics, things that are anti-life, antibiotic, anti-life, you consuming a lot of these things within the meat, within some of the dairy. And we wonder why, like your mentality reflects that. So you got to pay attention to what you are consuming, especially if you are concerned about your mental. You got to make sure you are feeding the mental life, feeding the body life. You feed it life, then that's how you're going to feel. You're going to feel lively. So that is very important when it comes to mental and brain health. And a lot of times people don't discuss that. When people talk about mental health, how many times y'all actually hear somebody talk about mental health and diet in the same sentence? Not a lot of times. You're not going to hear that a lot of times. You're not going to hear that correlation. You're not going to see that correlation. A lot of people don't think those things are correlated. A lot of people don't think that you can solve problems like bipolar, schizophrenia, depression, things of that nature. People don't think that you can solve those things via changing the diet, but you can though. And there's a lot of science out here that shows and proves that, you know, when you eat that whole food, plant-based type of lifestyle, it is a lot of evidence out here that shows and proves to you that that can reverse a lot of those conditions and that can elevate the mental health. So what you eat is important. And I can't stress that enough, man. So if you out here consuming a lot of processed and toxic foods, then your mentality, your mental health is going to be a reflection of that. It's going to be a reflection of that, man. So you have got to clean that up. If you are already, listen, and this stuff, I don't like to say things run in the family, but what happens is if you got a family history of these problems, you may be more susceptible to some of these conditions. It may be easier for you to acquire some of these conditions. So if you are already predisposed to a lot of these conditions, then you definitely got to make sure you taking care of yourself in regards to what you eat. That's one of the easiest ways to counter these things. Make sure you are consuming what's right and exact. But see, at the end of the day, that starts with a lot of the adults, because again, they say these diseases and all that don't run in the family. It's the bad habits that we pass down. And one of the bad habits that we tend to pass down are the bad dietary habits. So, man, we got to start cleaning up how we eat, not only for ourselves, but for our future. Because when you pass down these bad dietary habits, man, that is what's creating the condition for a lot of these diseases and these ailments and these mental health conditions. Just by simply passing down these bad dietary habits. Got to stop doing that. Got to stop doing that. And then we go sit around and we blame the kids. No, kids don't know anything about the McDonald's. You don't have to feed them the McDonald's. You know, they don't know anything about that. You are the one that's feeding them the McDonald's, man. You are the one that's taking them to the McDonald's. Don't blame the kid. Don't say I'm taking my child to McDonald's because they wanted to go to McDonald's. No, you got to stand your ground. You got to feed the child what's right and exact. Once you expose them to that McDonald's one time, it's a wrap, because we already know what they put in the food. So they got to become hooked instantly. So we got to do a better job. Just got to do a better job, man. We got to do a better job. I know people right now that's trying to wean their kids off of certain foods like fast food, and they saying how hard it is. And I already know, once you expose them to it one time, there's going to be a second time. It's going to be a third time. And now we talking about addiction. And it's hard to wean that child off of that McDonald's, man. That little Happy Meal, them chicken nuggets. It's hard. You think it's hard to do for you. It's definitely hard to do for that child, man, especially when you expose them to it early in the game. You know, so we just got to do a better job, man. We have literally got to do a better job. Got to do a better job when it comes to the dietary habits, man. We got to clean this stuff up for not only ourselves, but for the future. We got to do it. If we want to break a cycle, man, part of that cycle, a large portion of that cycle starts with us cleaning up how we eat. Literally, a lot of these problems, a lot of these conditions that we face and we deal with, a lot of these things could be prevented and avoided if we just simply cleaned up how we eat. Like, I kid you not. I kid you not. We can slice a lot of these problems in half easily just by cleaning up how we eat. Easily clean. Just swipe a lot of this in half. It's just that simple. The least piece, C squared, what's going on? Yeah, bona fide. Yeah, the gut, that's the second brain. That's the second brain. Your gut is the second brain. And it's science to that. That's where most of the serotonin in your body is produced. Most of the serotonin in the body is produced in the gut. Y'all know what serotonin is. When the serotonin is activated and released, that's what gives you the feeling of joy. Most of that is produced in the gut. So when you have the bad intestinal health, when you have the bad gut health, guess what? Your serotonin activation is impaired. So you about to be unhappy out here. You know, it's a lot of science to this, man. So your gut health is connected to the production and the release of serotonin. So if you have bad gut health, that's why you are unhappy. Like, it's that simple, man. So if you clean up your gut health, guess what? More serotonin is going to be released. So it's literal science behind this, man. So you got to clean up what you eat. Got to clean up how you eat, man. Got to do it. Miss Donnie, and that's when we bring up the village. I know I hear that too many times. When people say, man, you know what, I'm trying to get my son, trying to get my daughter to eat certain type of way, taken to the grandparents' house, and they giving them McDonald's, they giving them cakes, they giving them cookies, they giving them sodas. See, and that's what, and man, I love my elders to death, but my elders, this is where my elders frustrate me the most, being stuck in these old savage ways. And that's the reason why we be having a lot of these conflicts, because the elders don't be open to change at all. Stop feeding the grandkids the candy, the McDonald's, the cookies, like stop doing that. Especially once your child informs you that, listen, no, this is not what they consuming. They consuming the almond milk, not the cow's milk. Don't give them the cow's milk once they say, nah, he don't drink that. So we got, see, that conflict, I can't stand it. Can't stand it. And I see that a lot of times, man. I see that a lot of times, man, where the child will have the kid and that becomes the grandkid, and the child is like, man, I want to raise my kid on a plant-based type of lifestyle, so we gonna make the transition. Then they go to grandparents' house, and grandparent then just totally disregarded everything that was said, and they just feed them whatever they want to feed them. Because you know the kid ain't about to tell grandmother like or grandfather, nah, we don't eat that. If they 4 or 5 or 6, it's not gonna happen. They're gonna be like, hey, grandmother gave me some cookies, I ate it. Grandmother gave me this candy, I ate it. You know, so you can't be mad at the 5, 6-year-old, you know. But man, my elders, we gotta do a better job. Elders gotta do a better job. Because it's a lot of people in my age bracket that's really out here striving to make these changes. But a lot of times we at odds with the older generation, like with our parents and grandparents, that they didn't been eating this bacon and this swine for 70 years. So they think they all good, walking around on 10 types of medication, thinking that they didn't live to 75 eating bacon, so it's good. But whole while your quality of life is garbage. 10, 15 things of medication, and you saying, well, I'm 75, so I've been eating it this long, so I'm good. No, quality of life is not that good, man. You ain't supposed to be on all this medication at 75, 80. So no, stop using your age as justification for like continuing to eat in a savage manner. It's all about the quality of how one lives. If your quality of life is not up to par, then nah, that's not anything to brag about. Yeah, Miss Donnie, and a lot of time, man, I'm not even gonna lie, that'll literally cause me to disconnect with family. Like you're not gonna see your niece, your nephew, your grandson. You just not gonna see him until you respect my rules, until you respect what it is that I done laid down. Then you just not gonna see him. You're not gonna see him. You're not, because I ain't got time to keep playing like that. Just ain't gonna do it. I'm not gonna keep playing. I'm not gonna play with adults. Like that's who I don't play with. I got a little patience when it comes to the kids, when it comes to the baby, but I ain't got no patience with the adults. You ain't finna respect my rules and regulations. You ain't finna respect me as a man. They ain't gonna respect you as a woman. It's time for me to keep moving. I ain't going there. We ain't gonna do that. We ain't gonna do that. We ain't gonna do that. Yeah, Lindell, you know how I go. What we got? Memorial Day coming up, 4th of July. We finna use these days to justify eating a bunch of nonsense we don't be needing to eat. Whole while I'm still gonna be eating fruits and veggies. You know what I'm saying? So like we just be using these days as justification to do just dumb stuff, man. You know, toxic stuff. You know, just embrace the family, man. But we need to just clean up what we doing, man. Holidays are a good excuse. I know a lot of people, man, that push off starting a healthier diet because of a holiday. Prime example, y'all know me being in the fitness space. Christmas time, like Thanksgiving, around the time, like toward the winter, like right at October. That's like the worst time to talk to people about cleaning up the way that they eat. That's when they start saying, you know what, I just wait till New Year's because we finna have Thanksgiving, we finna have Christmas, so I know I ain't gonna be able to control my diet. It's like, why though? Why? Like Thanksgiving, like these days don't necessarily mean that you got to pig out. People act like you can't enjoy yourself by eating clean, eating healthy. But I didn't watch people never incorporate a clean regimen simply because of holidays. Like that stuff is trash, man. Listen, the holidays don't give you an excuse to say, you know what, I'm just gonna eat garbage. Like, nah, man, you can eat clean and still enjoy the day and enjoy your family, friends, whatever the case may be. We got to learn discipline out here. Supreme Allah, peace, God, what's going on? So we gotta we just got to do a better job, man. We lack a lot of discipline out here. We lack a lot of discipline. We lack a lot of discipline, and it's sad. Kurt, what you say? You say what's considered a high sodium percentage on these veggie and vegan products in stores? Man, I'm gonna drop a jewel on sodium. When it comes to sodium, they recommend about 2,300 milligrams a day being safe to consume. So that should give you like a ballpark of what to look for, man. So if you see something in the hundreds or underneath the 100, then you know that it's pretty solid. Once you see that number start to rise, you see 500 or 600 and things like that, it's like, hold up, man, that might be a little too much sodium, you know. But they say 2,300 on a daily basis is a safe consumption of sodium. But you know, I don't like their recommendation, so I may go 500 underneath that, so 1,800 type deal. So once you see things, you know, in the low hundreds or underneath the 100, things of that nature, man, then that'll probably be a little decent. Hey, C Square, there you go, man. Get yourself righteous. Get yourself right. Get yourself right. Supreme law, definitely. We eat to live, not live to eat. That's what the civilized do. We not a savage in pursuit of happiness out here. So that's and then it's our duty. Once we become civilized and we learn how to eat to live, then we must teach those that live to eat how to eat to live. That's also part of the duty. But it starts with self, man. You got to teach yourself the proper way to eat in order to live. And then you start with those around you. Then you start teaching them how to eat to live. And for the most part, if you got it's going to be the babies. That's going to be the people in your universe, your immediate circle. So that's important, man. But first and foremost, you got to teach yourself how to eat to live. And that's important, man. We got to study ourselves. We got to study our bodies. We got to see what works for us, what doesn't work for us. We got to do the knowledge to ourselves in regards to the proper foods that we should be consuming and all of that type of stuff, man. And a lot of times, that's what makes it complicated. That's why a lot of people start following a lot of these fad diets and things of that nature, because they're not in tune. They're not in tune with themselves. So when you're not in tune with yourself, man, you fall for anything out here because you stand for nothing. You stand for nothing because you know nothing. So you got to start to know something about yourself. You don't know anything about yourself, you're going to fall for any and everything, man. You're going to be the one on the keto diet, knowing good and well the keto diet is not good for you. But you're going to follow it because you're not in tune with yourself. So it's gonna sound good to you, like, man, I'm gonna do this. Whole while it's destroying you, you know. So we gotta be we gotta be in tune, man. We gotta get in tune with ourselves, man, with our bodies and things of that nature, man. That is very important. That is very important. Now, on top of hold on. C Square, man, appreciate that donation. You say a Subway beneficial, or is it even a step towards healthier eating? Because I'm an OTR driver, and 9 times out of 10 I eat out. There are worse options than Subway. Worse options. I would say that much. But you know, when you, depending on what you get, man, when you OD on the bread, that can always become a problem. There are worse options when it comes to fast food. Worst options, man. But I give you some jewels, like some little things to order, man, just to help you out, man. Order you like some hemp seeds, man. You can order them things offline. Get you some hemp seeds, all that, man, some pumpkin seeds. Just start ordering these type of seeds, man. And these things gonna fill you up, and they are very nutritious. Very nutritious, man. Them hemp seeds, pumpkin seeds. I wouldn't recommend, like, if you driving to be trying to eat chia seeds and flax seeds and things of that nature. Wouldn't be rocking with all of that. But I say the hemp seeds and the pumpkin seeds are essentially simple to eat. Some sunflower seeds, not the sunflower seeds with the shells, but, you know, organic sunflower seeds, man. Get you a gang of them joints, man. You'll be good to roll. Some jungle peanuts, like, man, you'll be good to roll, man. You get you some things like that. Get you some sea moss, man. Find somebody that makes some decent sea moss. Get you some sea moss, and you rolling. You rolling. Ain't gonna lose a step. Ain't gonna lose a step. But I want to get into the second thing here that can cause one to be depressed. It's the unresolved conflicts from childhood. Unresolved conflicts from childhood is huge. A lot of us, we don't understand that our childhood, our upbringing has shaped the person that we are. So a lot of us are angry, frustrated, depressed, sad, whatever the case may be, simply because of some things that happened to us in our childhood, in our past, that we have yet to resolve. So with that being said, man, if you got things that you went through, if you experienced trauma as a child, not ever telling you to let it go, not even telling you really how to deal with the trauma. But I know one thing for sure: trying to suppress the experience is only killing you. It's only making matters worse. The only way to cope with or deal with any type of trauma is to actually deal with it, actually face it. You know, they tell you in order to conquer the fear, you gotta face it. It's the same thing with these traumas, man. All the things that we endured as children in our upbringing, we gotta face these things, man, in order to resolve them. You gotta face them, man. So if you went through something that was traumatic as a child and you have not come to grips with it and not reached any type of conclusion, then you have got to face it. You have got to deal with it. You got to bring it to light. Stop trying to bury it. Stop trying to suppress it, because that is literally destroying you. It's literally causing your self-destruction, and you don't want to self-destruct. You still got a purpose. You still got things that you need to accomplish. The world needs you. So if you got some unresolved conflicts from your childhood, man, don't bury them. Bring them back to the surface. Dig them up, and face them. Dig them up and face them. That's the best piece of advice I can give anybody that's dealing with anything from the childhood, man, that's still impacting them today. And for the most part, that's a lot of people. It's a lot of us. A lot of us are still suffering from things that we went through as children. And a lot of us are suffering from these things unconsciously. And some of us are suffering from these things consciously, to the point where we know that's why we are suffering. We just don't want to reach a conclusion. We don't want to reach a conclusion. So you just got to come to grips with some of the things that happened to you. Now you got to come to grips with all of the things that happened to you in your childhood and your upbringing, man, because you survived. You survived them for a reason. You still here. You survived them for a reason. So it was a lesson to be extracted from it. So you got to extract that lesson. And then you got to utilize the lesson that you extracted from it to teach the people after you. Man. So we can break the cycle of whatever it was that you went through. We can break that cycle of it continuing to happen. So that's one of the reasons why you went through it and you survived it. So you got to make sure you extract the lesson from anything that you went through, any negative experience you went through as a child, man. You got to make sure you extracting that lesson from it, man. That's crucial. And you got to make sure you teaching that lesson. So you don't want to keep that lesson to yourself, man. You got that lesson, you went through it, you got the lesson for a reason, man. You got to teach it. Each one teach one. Swear, isolation. It's like solitary confinement. See, people look at that as something that's negative. One of the reasons why people view that as something that's negative, because a lot of people can't deal with themselves, man. But isolation is medicine to me. When I isolate myself, man, I always come out more peaceful. That's why I say isolation is required for me on a daily basis, man, because it activates that peace within me. I need that isolation. I've got to be isolated. I've got to have my isolation, man. I've got to have it, man, because that is essentially what activates that inner peace. So isolation is definitely medicine. Definitely medicine. Definitely medicine, man. I'm not afraid to say it, man. I need my isolation. I need that me time. Stick man got a song called Me Time. Like, you need that me time. You need it. Everybody needs it. Like, don't let anybody tell you otherwise. Everybody needs that me time. I don't care if it's 30 minutes. I don't care if it's 10 minutes. You need that isolation. You need it. You need it. Isolation is medicine. Isolation is medicine, man. That enables you to really get your mind right, to really concentrate on yourself for however long you have, man. So that me time is crucial. That me time is crucial, man. I can't be bothered 24/7. I need within that 24-hour realm, roughly 24 hours, within that realm, I need some of that time to myself, man, to just get myself together, man. And I feel like everybody needs that. That should just be a requirement. That should be a requirement. That's why when people start talking about relationships and they talk about how they all up under a person all day, every day, like that don't be sounding good to me. I'm like, man, that don't sound good. It just don't sound good to me. Like that will never be me. Like, nah, giving people space is important. Giving people space is important. I'm not gonna be around somebody 24/7, man. That's just not how that's gonna work. You got to give that person space, man. Allow them to kind of get things together themselves, mentally and physically, man. Just give the person space, man. Give them that distance. Give them that distance, give them that space, man. They appreciate that. You will appreciate that. It's only going to make everything stronger and better. Oh, Jaquez, yep. Yep. It definitely helps focusing, man. That isolation is crucial. That confinement is crucial. It's crucial. And I already tapped into, hold on, what you say, Kurt? Why do people that isolate themselves or consider themselves a loner get a bad rep? I get negative feedback when I isolate myself. Like I said, I broke that down in a previous stream like some months ago, Kurt. That's from, it's science out here that say we are gregarious by nature, meaning that we are sociable people by nature, meaning we got to be around people. Like it's in our nature to just want to be around people. So when somebody comes out and says, hey, I don't really care to be around people, I'm cool with sticking to myself, a lot of people don't understand that type of energy because we live in a world where everybody is like striving to fit in. Everybody feel like they got to be a part of some group. That's the world we live in. That's the majority. So when you say I don't need to be in a group, I don't need to be around people to be happy, I don't need to be around people to feel good, like you are the minority. So anytime you are the minority of something, you're going to get a bad rep. So being a loner, embracing isolation causes you to be in the minority. And that's what literally creates that bad rep. As if it's positive to be an extrovert. So people then, when people are extroverted, people always want to be around people. People automatically view these people as decent people, good people, normal people. Like, to me, that's really not necessarily normal, nor does that make one good just because they like being around people or they are a people person. That's just a characteristic that they possess. A characteristic in and of itself is not good or bad. Like being alone or being isolated is just a characteristic trait. Like I'm able to isolate myself and be good. I'm able to be by myself, being a loner and be good. That's not necessarily something that should be labeled good or bad. It's just a characteristic trait. Like, man, dude always off to himself. Dude stay quiet. That's just how dude is. Doesn't make dude a bad person or a good person. That's just a part of his personality. So, we need to stop labeling people good or bad because of characteristic traits. Just look at them as traits that the person possess. Like that's just what it is, man. We gotta look at people in that type of light, man. We gotta look at people in that type of light. Hey, it's Renzo. Man, that's a quote. It's like being visibly invisible. Man, that just resonated with the kid. I can relate to that type of sentiment. I can relate to that type of sentiment, man. Being visibly invisible. I know exactly what you mean, and that's kind of sad that I know exactly what you mean. I know exactly what you mean by saying visibly invisible. That's crazy. Brandon, I'ma honestly say, you say you don't know which one is worse. Trauma from childhood or trying to change the diet. I'ma honestly say probably the trauma from your childhood is probably worse than trying to change the diet. Why would I say that? It's like when you were a child, like for one, nobody asked to be here. So we already didn't ask to be here. And as a child, you don't really have much control. So like the things that happened to you as a child that were traumatic, like was out of your control. Like, and that's just messed up that people will do some of the things that they do to children. So I feel like that's worse, man, because it's like it's messed up, man, because you a child, you don't really know any better, and then people abuse that. Like that's kind of tragic and trash, man, because you a child, man. Like you ain't asked to be here, man. You innocent at that point. You 4, you 5, you 6, and people out here just tampering with you, and you know what I'm saying? Just still like that, nah, man. That's just nah. Yeah, that's they violating you, doing all these type of things, and you just a child. Like I think that I don't think much. I don't think it gets much worse than that. I don't think it gets much worse than being violated as a child, or whatever happened to you, or just being traumatized as a child, man. Just things you just didn't ask to, you ain't asked to witness that. Like, man, I'm just trying to eat my cereal, play my game, or go outside. Like, why I got to deal with this type of stuff? Why I got to be abused? Like, it ain't nothing you could do. If you're a child and you getting abused, you literally, it's nothing really you can do. You 4, you 5, you 6, and your parent, your uncle, whoever it is that's an adult abusing you, what can you literally do at 5 or 6? That's a lot different opposed to getting abused as an adult, you know. But you 5 and you 6, you getting violated and abused, bro. What can you do? What can you literally, and you 5 6 is really nothing you can do when you think about it. You know, a 5 and 6-year-old getting abused by a 35-year-old, a 40-year-old, man, you powerless. You powerless. So I don't think it gets much worse than that, man. And even if we beyond abuse, like physical abuse, verbal abuse, just witnessing things, man, having parents that's drunks, and you just like, man, you ain't asked to be born in that, so you just having to witness your parents just be drunk all the time, and you already know what happens when people are inebriated and intoxicated. You finna get mistreated, so you see it coming. It's like, man, here we go again, and you got to deal with this at 5 or 6. You asked to deal with something as heavy as that. That's just ridiculous, man. You know what I'm saying? That's really ridiculous. And adults should just be, I almost feel like some adults should just really be penalized for putting their children through some of the things they put them through. When it, like I'm talking about, because man, some of these parents just ain't worth anything, man, when it comes to the things that some of these children went through, man, just because of the bad parenting. Just trash, man. Like, get your life together, man. When you become a, get your life together. You get your life together before that. But man, definitely when you got somebody looking up to you, get your life together. Like, please get your life together, man. Like, come on, man. Like, why are you abusing a 4-year-old, a 5-year-old, man? Is it really what you own? So Renzo, man, I definitely understand that. I'm real big on, but man, I don't even like, listen, Terenzo just brought something up on me when it comes to bullying. I really do not like to see people get bullied or teased, man. Like, I can't stand it. When I don't even like when people, it's just a lot of things in that regards that I don't like. Because I know how it feels, man, to not be desired, man, to just have that lack of self-esteem, low confidence, all of that. So when I see people display those type of actions to children, man, I get hot. Like, internally, that just destroys me, man. I just can't stand when people do that. I can't stand like, if you got a room full of children, if you acknowledge the beauty of one child, I feel like you should acknowledge the beauty of all of them. Like, I can't stand when people do that, man. I can't stand when that happens. I can't stand when stuff like that happens. It's a pet peeve of mine, because I know how it feels to be that child, to feel like you not desired out here. You not, like, people don't gravitate towards you and things of that nature because of the way you may look and stuff like that, man. I know how that feels. It's not a good feeling, yo. So nah, man, you gotta lift up these children, man. You gotta lift up these children instead of judging them physically. For one, that's creepy. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, that's creepy to me. That's creepy to me. Everybody got some form of beauty, man. So don't be singling out one child, man. You know what I'm saying? In a room full of children. Nah, uplift all of those children. You're not gonna uplift them all, then don't say anything. Like, I can't stand any form of just bullying, and when people attacking self-esteem, whether it be indirectly or directly, I'm gonna always pick up on that type of stuff, man, because I can't stand to see. Can't stand to see it. Do not like to bear witness to that type of stuff. Bona fide, no doubt. And then a lot of times that's what creates the monster. So a lot of the children turn out to be exact replicas of what they witnessed growing up. So you creating a monster. And then most of the time the replica is going to be a lot worse than what they actually saw. Because what's crazy, what they saw, they're going to start writing it off as normal. So it's going to be the norm to them. If they say, all right, man, I saw my daddy abuse my mom, like, to me, that's normal. So when I get in a relationship, it's normal for me to abuse the woman that I'm with. Like, that's normal. So they're not even going to see it as a problem. So we create monsters out here when we do that type of stuff. RBG, peace. Intelligent. What's going on with you, my brother? Brandon, and it ain't even, you ain't got to let go. See, that's the thing. Don't let go of the past. You thinking the past is something you got to let go of. Nah, you just got to understand that I survived and I'm here now. So what am I going to do moving forward? But you never let go of the past. The past is a part of you. As much as we want to shake it, the past is a part of us. So you ain't got to let go of the past. You ain't got to forget the past ever happened. You just got to learn to cope with the fact that it happened and you survived it. That's it. And you're going to have up and down days. So it's not going to always be positive. You're not going to always be like, you know what, man, the past out, I'm good. Now you're going to have days where you're like, dang, I can't believe that happened to me. But you got to embrace all of those feelings, man. You got to embrace all of them. Because guess what? They all, like, none of those feelings and emotions are going to be permanent. They all going to come and go. So even the feelings about your past, man, they ain't going to last for eternity. You know, you just got to stop stopping them. Just allow them to run its course. So if you got a day where you just feeling bad in regards to things that happened to you in your past, let the feelings run its course. The next day may be a better day for you. Just let the stuff run its course, man. When you just stopping the thoughts and let everything just flow, you're going to see. You're going to see what I mean by letting them run their course. They're not going to last long, man. Them thoughts ain't going to last long. Nothing in this world is permanent, man. Nothing. It's not one thing in this world is permanent, especially when it comes to your thoughts, feelings, and emotions. Those things fluctuate. You just got to allow them to do so, though. That's the key. Yeah, Lorenzo, man, I'm telling you, if I was to ever catch a body of any sort, it'd be because I witnessed somebody getting bullied and I just couldn't contain myself that day. Wisdom, hey man, Wisdom, the CDC can kick rocks for all I care. Yeah, the CDC can kick a bunch of rocks. I don't even care no more about the CDC. Yeah, bona fide. Definitely don't dwell on it. Definitely. Kenyatta. Peace. Appreciate the donation. Black boy child abuse is an unspoken epidemic. Big time, man. Big time. Telling y'all, man. Hey, we done went through some things, man. But like I said, a lot of times we just program the condition to just hold things in. I can't tell you how many times, and this is another thing, man. I can't tell you how many times I done had conversations with people, man, and they went through something in their childhood. But y'all know this. This is common fact that something happened to you. You were violated as a child by a member of your family, and the people in your family actually making you feel bad about saying that you were violated by the person in your family. Like, man, your uncle didn't violate you. Your uncle would have never did this to you. And that, like, you be like, wow, the family straight turn against you because you didn't reveal to him that the uncle is a creep. Like, that's crazy. And that happens. This ain't something that's just in movies. Like, that literally happens. Like, that child will get violated by that uncle, by that auntie, and then they come announce it to the family, like, hey, uncle such and such did this. Like, man, your uncle would never do that. What's wrong with you? Straight get mad at the child. Like, make the child feel like they delusional, tripping. Like, what? Why? Why would your 5-year-old daughter make up in her head that she was violated by Uncle George? Like, that don't make any sense. Doesn't make any sense. And then that already traumatized her. Now you about to make her feel worse for bringing the truth to you. And people wonder why some of these women don't ever expose the fact or reveal the fact that they were violated, and some of these men, because look what happened to you when they bring it to the closest person to them. That closest person to them, like, man, that didn't happen to you. So it's like, man, once that happened, you like, man, it don't even make no sense to even bring this to the surface. Man, I brought it to the closest person to me, and they wrote it off. So it's like, what's the point? I ain't bringing it to nobody else. I ain't even gonna do it. They made me feel bad for even thinking, for even telling them that it happened. So it's like, you know what? Good. I'm just gonna go ahead and suppress that. And bona fide, that's typically what happens. That is typically how it rolls, and that's really what's messed up. That's really what's messed up about it. Kurt, I'm gonna be honest with you. I got an extreme perspective when it comes to rape, child molesters, things like that. We can go back. Listen, we can go back to the days where people were getting beheaded. I am for that. They should be killed. I'm not. If you molest children, your penalty should be death. I don't care. Like, I don't care. Like, that's just you raping. Listen, your penalty, you should be beheaded. Like, that's honestly how I feel, man. That's been my perspective for a minute. If you out here, you definitely out here touching the babies, violating the babies. You deserve to die. Like, you don't deserve a second chance for that. That's just, you just don't. I don't die, especially when you have done it more than once. Oh no, nah. I'm not even saying once you deserve a pass, but if you touch the babies more than once, death. No, we don't even need a trial, none of that. Death. You need to be beheaded. Like some of those old ways with, listen, if the penalty out here for some of these things where you getting beheaded in public, man, hey, I'm for that. I ain't even gonna lie to y'all, man. I'm for that type of stuff. I'm for it. Man, you touch the babies, put them out there in the public, behead them, chop his head off. I feel like we gotta get gangster out here when it comes to some of these things, man. Chop their head off in public. Man, listen, I'll stop playing with me, man. Like, that's my view toward that, man. You should not be allowed to breathe as a child molester. Like, you should not be allowed to breathe. The moment we convict you, the moment that we prove that you did this, you should be chopped right there on spot, man. Quit playing with me. Quit playing with me. Yeah, bro, and I mean, I don't feel like it's extreme, but you know how people get. You know how sensitive the world is. Oh my God, dude said they should kill. Yeah, but that definitely isn't extreme to me. You touch the baby's death. Like, every time somebody asks me, I got the same response, and I'm quick with it. Die. Like, you just don't deserve life. Like, you just don't. There's no way we're gonna justify it. No way. No way to justify that. Not one way. And I don't even want to hear it. Yeah, bona fide. And I'm telling you, boy, they don't want to let me be in charge. This world would be kind of, listen, that type of stuff wouldn't be going on. He did what? Chop his head off. Let's go live and chop his head off. Like, people would be, listen, I ain't finna keep playing with him, man. I ain't playing with you. I don't play with those type of things, man. I just don't. I'm not gonna play with that type of stuff, man. Brandon, man, I've met a lot of brothers in my life recently that have been saying the same thing, man. So I already know how I go, man. That's a lot of times. That's why a lot of people turn to the streets themselves, because believe it or not, a lot of us, we looking for that role model. We want that person to look up to, especially when we young. You know what I'm saying? When you a young man, you looking for that elder. You looking for that elder gentleman. Like, man, you looking for that male role model. That's what we be looking for. We looking for that role model, man, and vice versa. So that's why we gravitate towards the streets, man, because that, that brotherhood, or it might be that OG in the streets that you look at as a father figure, So that's why it's important, man. That's why it's important to be in your child's life, man. That's why it's important to be a good role model, man. That's important. It's important. Then it's also important for us as elderly, man, that we gotta, show and prove through our ways and actions, because you never know who you can impact. Like I'm considered an OG now. I ain't even know that, but I guess I'm considered that now. So it's people looking up to me like, man, listen, hey, my pops ain't necessarily that positive, man, but some of the stuff you done been saying and been helping me. So it's like, man, I got to make sure I'm moving in a certain way because you never know who's watching, who's paying attention. So I'm always mindful of that, man. I'm always mindful of that. Hey, Kurt, you ain't gotta worry about it. You are, man. Listen, respect this channel. Nah, man. We say what we gotta say over here, man. When it comes to stuff like that, we say what needs to be said. You deserve death. I will keep saying that. I will keep saying that. This is where I do a lot. I do away with a lot of nonsense, man. If I was in charge, this where I'm telling you, I do a lot. I do away with a lot of the trash. I ain't finna play around with you. I ain't about to be trying to give people you on trial for 45 years before you get found. Man, nobody got time for that. You all right? We proved that you touched these babies. Here we go. Let's go. Pop, we kill him. Chop his head off. Everybody saw it. Burberry box cutter, man, and that's transparency at its finest, man. And that's what happens. That's why it's in. That's why when you go through these things, that's why I say, man, they basically create the monster because we grow up, we experience these things. After a while, if it continues to happen to you, it's normal to you. So you really didn't know any better. It's like, dang, man, this to me, this was normal. You know what I'm saying? This is how it was supposed to go. Yeah, Airview, man, and I ain't gonna lie. If don't nothing hurt, I think the one thing that tend to hurt the most in life when you a youngin is when the person that you look up to the most, the person that you put all your trust in, when they do something that lets you down, man, that is painful. Like that's painful. When it's been like it's a mother or father, and you bring something to them, and you just know in your mind that they finna have your back, and they don't have your back, man, that's painful. That's painful, man. That is destructive. It's destructive. Oh, Brandon, man, I already know, man. People used to call me weird because I was always off to myself, man. I ain't really say a lot. They used to straight call me weird. Like, dude, weird. Weird is synonymous to quiet. So when you quiet, you got called weird a lot. That's what I realized. Like just being quiet, not talking a lot, got you labeled weird. So that's something that I realized, man. When you don't talk and you don't care to talk and you ain't got much to say, they call you weird. So that's how a lot of times I get called weird or something. You know what I'm saying? And that's just simply because I wasn't out here trying to talk to everybody. Like, hey, dude's weird. Like, nah, man, I just really don't care to be talking to y'all because y'all ain't talking about nothing. Yeah, bona fide, no excuse at all. Not one. Not one. C Square, peace again for that donation. You say, I don't know who needs to hear this, but I felt the need to super chat it. God give me the serenity to accept things I cannot change, the courage to change I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. We already know. We already know where that stems from. Gotta accept them. Things you cannot change, man. You just gotta understand that you survived it, man. Accept it. I survived it. I'm here. I'm here to tell the story. It's somebody out here that's going through the same things you're going through, man, but they need to understand that they're not alone. So you just got to let it out so they can see that, hey, man, I ain't the only one that's going through this. I ain't the only one that went through this. I don't feel too bad about it now, man, because such and such went through it and they survived. Look how they turned out. It's going to be all right. So, man, get it off your chest. Get it off your chest. Yeah, the guillotine, Castro, man, hey, they beheaded. I'm telling you. Man, Airview, listen, if I feel like you guilty of it, like if I'm talking to you, I'm like, man, this dude did it. I might chop your head off, man. I'll be out here, I'll be feared out here, man. I ain't finna play with him, man. I'm not about to play with people. I ain't about to play with, man. You're not about to play with me, man. We ain't about to be doing stuff like that under my watch, man. If I feel like you did it, like I talk to you, like, man, you know you did it. Yeah, you might get your head chopped off that instant. Got time to be playing with y'all, man. It's a lot of sickos out here, man. It's a lot of weirdos out here. It's a lot of creeps out here, and I'm not about to play with any of them. Stop creeping on these people, man. Stop creeping on these children. Stop creeping on these women. Stop creeping on these boys, man. Yeah, women be creeping too, so stop creeping. Stop being a creep out here. So I think I touched on only one I didn't like. I touched on a bad inner circle, bad environment. Definitely touched on that in regards to how that can cause depression, man. The bad inner circle. We talked about that with we talked about that with peer pressure, and we already know how the family being around or being amongst family can lead to depression. The main example of that is you just striving to make certain changes in your life, and instead of them being supportive, like they bashing you. So we already know how that leads to depression, man. You saying, man, I wanna make this lifestyle change. I want to do this with my life. And instead of everybody be like, oh man, that's good, man. I wish you nothing but the best. They like, why are you doing that? It's gonna cause you to be this way. It's gonna cause you to do that. You don't need to do this. Man, that's depressing, man. Because it's something deep down that you know you need to do. But then the people that you put your trust in the most, they like, nope. They not supportive, man. That support is everything. When I do the knowledge, when I read a lot of business books, man, and they talk about goal setting, one of the biggest things that's required for setting your goals is to have a support system, have a solid support system. Like that's big in regards to achieving your goals. When you have a solid support system, man, that makes it that much easier for you to achieve your goals. If you don't have that solid support system, it makes it that much harder. So a solid support system is crucial, man. Gotta have that solid support system, and a lot of people don't have it. And I feel for you. A lot of people do not have that solid support system, man. That support system is everything. If you got a bunch of people in your corner, man, that's just cheering you on and just can't wait to see you succeed, man, that will work wonders for you. That will work wonders for you. Now, one aspect of depression that I didn't talk about was the media, the media's involvement in depression. And man, we can talk about this. We can talk about this for years, like the media's involvement in depression. One of the major ways that the media is tapping into depression right now, as I've talked about, the way the algorithms is set up, it's like, man, when you tap into social media, man, the first thing you're gonna come across is toxicity. You know what I'm saying? People going back and forth, people debating, people arguing. Like it's always something like that that's popping up in the feed first and foremost, because they trying to push that toxic environment, that toxic energy on us. And they doing a good job of it. They doing a good job of it, man. You just see a lot of just nonsense pop up first. Like you ain't gonna see the positivity pop up first, man. You gotta do some work. You gotta do some work for that positivity to pop up on your feed primarily, man. It seemed like soon as I'm like, man, I ain't even subscribed to some of this, man. Why am I seeing it? You know, and I'm like, man, as soon as I pop up on the joint, man, just a bunch of nonsense that I don't be subscribed to. I'm like, dude, how am I like this is ridiculous. I don't want to see this. So man, I'll be having to filter out a lot of the BS, man. I'll be having to filter out a lot of the BS, a lot of the nonsense. And that's just ridiculous. That's ridiculous. Shouldn't have to be doing all of that. Yeah, bro. And that zero support system, like, is crucial, man. And that's one of the main reasons why a lot of people seek groups and whatnot, man, to just kind of fit in. Because a lot of us, man, whether we want to admit it or not, like, man, having a support system is crucial. It's peace, man. It feels good, man. Just have people you know that's rocking with you. You know what I'm saying? So at some point, being a loner is cool and whatnot. Like I can maintain, but it's also cool to have two or three people that you know, like, man, that's actually wanting you to succeed and willing to just help you and whatnot, man. So that's also cool. You know what I'm saying? So having that zero support system is rough, man. It's rough. It's rough. And it shouldn't really have to be like that, man. But it's rough, man. Like you got to overcome a lot when it comes to not having a support system. You got to overcome a lot. You got to be self-motivated, man. Like when them days where you not fit, see, that support system comes in handy when you have them days where you not motivated, but the person that's around you, like they stand on that accountability part of like, hey man, you gotta get to the money, you gotta get to it, you gotta do this, that, and the third. Like that's crucial because you gonna have them days where you just like, man, I do not feel like it. But when you have that person that's able to just compliment you, man, and balance you out, that's when they gonna push you, man. That's when that's gonna come in handy for you. So that type of stuff is crucial, man. That type of stuff is definitely crucial. Definitely crucial, man. That comes in handy, man. Comes in handy on them days where you like, man, I ain't bad making. You say, do you think the creators of social media was create a toxic uproar? I don't want to say I think that was their sole intention, but they knew basically what they did. I'm gonna drop this jewel in regards to social media because it all boils down to marketing and money and things of that nature. So when they created social media, just like with any product, first and foremost, all they really thinking about is how can I get all the traffic? How can we get everybody to gravitate toward our website? At that point, they don't really care about the overall health and the mental health of the people. They don't care how they get the people to the product. They don't care how they get the people to the website. All they thinking is, I need to get people to this website. I want to have the best site on the planet. What can we do to get people to always be on our sites, to be hooked on our sites? So that's pretty much what they were after. They were striving to create something to where they can have everybody gravitate toward that site. And that led to a lot of manipulation, a lot of deception and things of that nature, man, just getting us hooked, getting us addicted. And I feel like it took off in a way I don't want to say they weren't expecting it, but it took off in that manner, and that's crazy. And now they really realizing, at least some of them realizing, like, whoa, like this social media thing is kind of devastating to some people. It's kind of really an addiction. Like, wow, we ain't really realize what we actually created. We was talking about the marketing, but when you step back and look at it like that, man, we really didn't create a society of people that's addicted to social media to where everybody looking down at their phone scrolling. Like we really created that. So that's what then happened in regards to social media, man. They really created a monster with social media. And they may have had like harmless intent, but it became something. It became something. It became an addiction. Because people are addicted to social media. Big time. Lorenzo, no doubt, man. That's the only thing. When you block from Facebook, man, you ain't got to worry about some of the nonsense that be on it. Yeah, you ain't got to worry about a lot of that garbage that be on them joints, man. That's one thing about that. That's one thing about that for sure. But yeah, man, the media definitely has some involvement in depression, man. That's why you got to limit your time on social media. Limit the time. Do not spend a lot of time scrolling on social media. You're going to get lost. You're going to get lost in all that scrolling, man. You're going to start comparing your lives to artificial people out here that's showing you one way of living, but they live in total opposition to what they displaying to you. So you're gonna get caught up in all that nonsense, man. Don't get caught up in all of that. Don't do it. Don't waste all your time on social media, man. Get on social media for productive reasons and then leave. That's how you got to do it. If you ain't being productive on it, then do not get on it. It's that simple. It's that simple. Lorenzo, no doubt. And they succeeded. It's all that marketing. What can we do? King Smoke. Always be peaceful, be centered, be balanced. All of that. And that's what's crazy, bro. Sometimes that support, that's crazy. And it'd be crazy when the support comes from like the wrong person. That'd be making it worse. I've seen that too. That support come from the wrong individual to the point where if you rock with that individual too hard, you're gonna end up all bad out here. So that'd be kind of trash, man, when that support comes from the wrong individual. That'll cost you your life if you hang around the individual too much, man. So it's like, well, yep, they support me, but I gotta kind of keep my distance from them. So it's not helpful. So I didn't seen that too. I've definitely seen that. Yeah, see, Scrub, man, you got to, man. It's imperative, as they say, man. It's definitely imperative. Gotta limit the time spent on all these social media sites, man. You gotta do it. You gotta spend as much time with yourself, focusing on your mental health as you possibly can, man. That's just important, and I can't stress that enough, man. You have got to make time for yourself. Gotta make time for that mental. Gotta make time for that brain health, man. You just gotta make time for yourself so you can focus on yourself, get to know yourself, get acquainted with yourself, so that you can learn to appreciate and love yourself. That's important. That's why all of the ancestors and ancient cultures said, know thyself. It's very important, man. And that's where everything starts. That's the foundation of everything in existence, to get to know yourself. So that's where it starts. Once you get to know yourself, that's the foundation. Once you know yourself, then you're able to appreciate and love yourself. And once that happens, man, all of this depression, all of this negative energy, these negative thoughts, these bad thoughts, toxic thoughts, like you're gonna see that they will be on the decline. Once you get that knowledge of yourself, and once you learn to appreciate, understand, and love yourself, those negative thoughts, those suppressing thoughts, all of that will be on the decline, man. That is very important. You are the foundation to everything in existence. You are the foundation to your universe. You got to know and understand that everything revolves around you. So you got to get to know you. That is very important. That is imperative. But with that being said, y'all, man, y'all know what time it is for me. I got to make my moves, get up to this gym, train people, go ahead, kill them, run them through the ground. Y'all know how it goes. So I appreciate all y'all tapping in with me today. Appreciate the donations, the comments, questions, all of that good stuff, man. It's always a peaceful dialogue. So I'm about to make my rounds, man. Y'all enjoy the rest of this Tuesday. I'm going to strive to tap back in with y'all tomorrow. Y'all be easy out here, y'all. I'm out. Peace.